Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Speedrunners and Coffee. Today, I have a very special guest, a very good friend of mine, in fact, who has been speedrunning since 2018, speedrunning a ton of Resident Evil, from Resident Evil 7, the remake of the original, RE2 remake, and even the Spyro trilogy, the second game, I believe, as well as Monkey Island, which is pretty cool. My guest today is the lovely Marphoria. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm happy it's Friday. That's always my favorite day of the week.
Yay, Friday. So, of course, given that this is the history of one's speedrunning journey, what got you
Mhm.
into speedrunning?
My partner introduced me to Twitch back in 2012, and I've never heard of it before, so I thought it was the coolest site ever. It's like, wow, people playing games and streaming, all that stuff. Like, it was totally new to me. And I started watching Banjo-Kazooie and Super Mario 64 runs because I never played those games growing up. Like, I didn't have an N64, so I wanted to see them get played through, and then, like, I was amazed with how fast people were beating them, so I was just kind of enamored with it right away and, saw AGDQ 2013 and stuff, and it was just like, wow, it was just this whole other world I had no idea existed, so yeah, and it was interesting because, like, I didn't like, as a kid, I tried to beat, like, Crash 3 and Sonic 3, like, I tried to beat those, like, as fast as possible, like, I wanted to do them in one sitting, so technically, like, I was already kinda into that, like, as a young kid, so the fact that, like, it's an official thing, like, it kind of, like, got me hooked there, so, I wanna say also, like, in 2013, maybe early 2014, I found that, people speedrun Resident Evil as well, so it was history from there. I was addicted to the whole concept of speedrunning.
Very nice. Now, what made you pick the game that you started with?
So I started with, like, OG Crash 3 in 2013. It's not on my speedrun.com profile because I never submitted anything for it. I also don't think speedrun.com was around back then. Like, maybe it was, but I know Speedruns Live was, like, the big thing back then. But yeah, I didn't have. Oh, it was SDA. That was the big thing. That was still around back then. So yeah, I started with OG Crash 3. I didn't submit a run, but I decided to speedrun it because it was my favorite platformer, and you want to pick a game that you know. So but yeah, I did a few runs of that, and that was it. But so I say that, like, my official year I started speedrunning was 2018, and I picked RE7 because RE7 was, like, the latest game that I played when I started, and I love the RE series. Like, that's my favorite. That's my favorite game series. So yeah, I picked that one because it was, like, the newest one at the time. I just got done playing it, and the game was really scary to me when I first played it, and it took me like 10 hours to beat. So I wanted to go back and beat it faster so I can just kind of stick it to it and stuff. But yeah, also AGDQ 2018 was just a couple months before that, and I was really inspired by Carcinogen's new game Madhouse Run. So that was another thing. It made me want to give RE7 a try. So it was the first speedrun I took seriously. So that's why I picked it.
Very nice. Did you have any initial goals with your runs of RE7?
Um, so I started with New Game Plus Madhouse because not many people ran it, and I thought it'd be a good challenge. And I just wanted to beat it in under 2 hours. Like, that was my first goal, and I did achieve it, like, after a month or two. So that was a nice confident boost and made me want to get into other categories. But, like, yeah, it's something interesting. Like, when you stream these games on Twitch, like, community members come into your stream and, like, give you tips and help you out and stuff. So when I started getting more involved with the communities, kind of like where I was like, okay, I want to start getting my times down really quick, and get them down to, like, hour and a half, stuff like that. So yeah.
Nice. How do you decide on a game to run?
So I play the game casually, of course. You always want to do a first playthrough of the game, but while I'm playing that game, I try to gauge how I feel through that playthrough. Like, I try to kind of, like, keep in the back of my head how it'll be as a speed run, and I just kind of keep these things in mind as I'm playing. I'm like, how's the movement? Is the gameplay fun? Is there potential for quick strats, like, for the parts I struggled with and stuff? Like, I try to keep those in mind. So when I beat the game, if I really enjoyed my playthrough, I feel more inclined to learn the run. But if the game took me a long time, or if I didn't have a lot of fun playing it, if I didn't like the gameplay or how it controlled or anything, then I won't run it. So I basically decide to run games that, like, were really fun to me and want to see if I could beat it faster.
Okay, that's very fair. Was there a game you regret running or a game you wish you had continued to learn?
So I don't regret running any of the games that I've learned or ran because I think all of them were fun and I got some value out of them. But I do wish I continued to run Untitled Goose Game because I picked it up right after it came out, and I wish I pushed that time down a little more because it's a very charming game. It's super funny and it made me laugh every time. So I just I needed to. I got frustrated with the RNG involved with it, and I was running it on the Switch, and it for me it controlled a little weird on it. So when it got released on PC, I was just like, oh, I'll go back and do it, but I never did. But I would like to go back. I think that's a fun run.
Do you think you would do it sometime in 2023?
Yeah, probably because I've been this year is like my 5-year anniversary of streaming, and I wanted to go through and like do like a speedrun marathon of all the games that I ran. And I was gonna split it up into different days, like horror games and platformers and stuff like that. So I would before doing that, I would de-rust on those runs. So yeah, I'll definitely pick it up for that.
Nice. Now, is there a game that you love but would never run?
So interesting enough, and this is funny because like I never played it as a kid, and I didn't even own like an N64. But like I love Banjo Kazooie 100%. Like I love watching it. It's one of my favorite games to watch. But I would never run it just because the tech looks difficult, and like just with N64 3D platformers, they control like it takes a while to get used to those controls and stuff. But I just honestly find more enjoyment watching that game, and I just personally have no interest in like running it or wanting to learn it. I just would rather watch it.
Okay, that's very fair. Do you have any event rituals?
Yeah, it's funny. I never really thought of that until I never really sat down and think about it. But when I did, I was like, oh wow, I actually do. So I make sure to do some segment practice like the day of the event, like not a full run. I just like want to do a little bit of segment practice so it gets me mentally prepared to run the game because I've found in the past if I just like go into the event without playing it beforehand, it's like I get very nervous and stuff. So yeah, like a few hours before the event, I'll do some segment practice bosses, stuff like that. After that, I give myself enough time to get dressed. I like to wear like a fun outfit and stuff. So I get all that ready, get my social posts ready because I want to announce to my community as soon as the event goes live. And kind of like your other generic things, like I get my water, I double check that my stream alerts are turned off and that OBS is set up correctly. And I also make sure like my game is like turned on and ready to go. And because like when I stream, I listen to my own music and I have my lo-fi beats and stuff going on. I go to make sure that my the background volume for the game is turned on because like I always have them turned off. So
What do you do to not burn yourself out of speedruns?
So, yeah, when I'm speed running something and I'm playing it a lot and stuff, as soon as I get really frustrated with the game or I stop having fun with it, like because there gets to a point like as you're grinding that time, there's some parts that end up frustrating you and stuff. You see those red splits a lot and you start getting discouraged. So, yeah, as soon as I start feeling negative about it, I'll just take a break from it and run something else. Especially if it's a game, I definitely have like an end goal in it and have a personal goal. I want to make sure I come back to it, and if I stop having fun with it at the moment, then I'll take a break from it and just like go speed run something else, learn something else, or de-rust on another run. Because yeah, I've learned that like grinding a run like it really affects my mental health. So I'd rather achieve those personal goals slowly rather than quickly.
That's completely fair. What advice would you have given your past self with your first speedrun, knowing what you know now?
I would tell my past self to not get so caught up in the grind and also like to stop comparing yourself to others. Cause, when you see leaderboards and you're involved in a community, you can't help but, see everyone else's PBs and all that sort of stuff. So, and like, some people and audiences and stuff will put like huge emphasis on like, top 10, top 5 world records and stuff. So I would tell my past self, don't get caught up in that. Your personal goals are just way more satisfying than trying to achieve those top times. So just do your own thing. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. And it's okay if you don't catch on to strats quickly because we all learn at a different pace. Like I'm someone that definitely like some things I'll catch on quickly, and then other things like I need to practice a lot. So I'm trying to be kinder to myself and know it's like, okay, I personally learn at a different pace. So try not to get discouraged and also branch out into more categories stories and games because, variety is the spice of life, and it's really satisfying to try new things. And, like I said, don't get caught up in the grind, but yeah, the most important thing is just to try and have as much fun as possible because, that's what we're here for.
Indeed, it is. Is there a skip you wished was in a game you run?
Yeah, so this isn't something that I think about in my games, especially if like if the game like doesn't have a skip or if it's like glitchless or something. But if I were to, I guess, think about that, maybe an Out of Bounds in Resident Evil Remake, one that's similar to RE7, like where you can get thrown out of the wall and like drop down to another part in the map. Like I think that'd be cool in remakes. So maybe like an Out of Bounds in Resident Evil Remake where you can get thrown outside the mansion walls and go into the caves because you'll get to avoid some stuff. So I think that'd be cool.
Certainly would seem so. I know you've mentioned needing scarce stairs. Oh my god, I can't talk.
You're
Stair
good.
skating in one part where there's two hunters just sitting
Oh
there,
yeah.
and it's like, oh no, if I don't get this stair skate right, GG's. And
Yeah.
that just sounds horrifying to me.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a way to skip that, that'd be cool.
Very fair. Is there a game you're looking forward to running?
Yeah. Yeah, this year Resident Evil 4 remake is coming out, so I'm really looking forward to that because it looks really good and I have a really good feeling that it's going to run or, play very similar to RE2 remake and RE Village. It just looks like a combination of those two with like, the over the shoulder of RE2 and then like the menuing and UI of RE Village. So, and those were runs that I had a lot of fun with. So, even if I struggle with my first playthrough a little bit, I definitely want to see if like after my first playthrough if I could beat it faster. And once the routes come out and strats start coming out, and like I really love labbing the new Resident Evil games. I would at least like to see if it's something I could be competitive with. So I'm very much excited for that one.
Nice. Yeah, I kind of started speedrunning with 8, but unfortunately I left it too quickly because once certain strats were coming out, it was like, oh, I can't compete with that. Bye. So I
Oh,
hope that doesn't happen for you.
no, I think it'll be okay. A lot of these games usually have a variety of categories, so I'm hopeful. But
Mhm.
what category in Village did you run?
I did New Game Plus any percent, like
Oh,
all glitches and stuff, but it was when snow
yeah.
walking was discovered, and I was like,
Ooh,
oh, I'm on controller. Oh, I can't do that. And I left directly after that, and
yeah.
I guess that was outlawed pretty quickly
Yeah,
at the
well,
time.
it was like after a month or 2 or something, or maybe it was even longer. Because also same thing happened to me because I mean, I got a decent PB with it, but I was pretty upset that that was a strat that didn't really get voted on or talked about too much. Like people started doing it, and then it's like, okay, I guess they're accepting world records and runs with this. So, but if it makes it any better, yeah, that got nuked. You don't have to, if you do it in a run, then it gets rejected. So if you ever want to come back, you totally can.
I think my entire category got nuked thanks to the winter's expansion patch, I think.
Oh
Because I
yeah,
think
I
most of the
forgot.
out of bounds don't work anymore.
Oh really?
And I have no idea how to run that game without me out of bounds. I'm just like, oh dear.
Oh geez.
Because I was going to run it on the Mac at one point since it's out on Mac now. But if it's like if all the out of bounds stuff is patched, it's like, ugh, I kind of have to completely relearn the game. Oh
Aw.
no. But yeah, that's kind of my story with Village. What is your opinion on IGT versus RTA?
So personally, I don't have a strong opinion about it just because, it's up to the community on, the timing for that. So it's yeah, it's down to the community like which timing method makes sense for it because, when a game comes out, they try to see how the timer affects things and stuff. So personally, I don't have any preference for one timing method over the other for speedruns. So whatever it is, you know.
That's fair. I'm pretty much the same. I'm like, well, if you want it like this or you want it like that, okay, I'm not really gonna fight over it. I
Yeah.
mean, I run a lot of games that use one, run a lot of games that use the other. It's like, eh.
Yeah, same here.
Given that this is a show called Speedrunners and Coffee, what's your favorite coffee?
That's a good question. So I'm a huge sucker for Starbucks ice brown sugar oat milk shaken espresso. I know that's a mouthful. It's really good, but basically just give me any latte that has oat milk and a flavor shot in it, and I'll love it because I think oat milk is really great in coffee and lattes and stuff.
Yes, I've been converted to many different milks in many different things, but I have to say that oat milk is probably my favorite, even in
Yeah.
cereal. It's just like,
It's
yes.
it's so creamy and delicious. So yeah, I'm glad that's a thing now.
I typically like Starbucks fancy drinks too. My favorite drink, as I'm sure the audience is getting sick of me saying, is a Coke coffee.
Oh, I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's literally like it's the same amount as a Coke can, but it's half the calories, and it's like, wow, this is perfect. It tastes like coffee and it tastes like Coke. Awesome. Although apparently there's like 3 flavors, one of which I've never seen. I also haven't seen the zero sugar versions of these. Apparently that's only in the United States, from what I understand, which
Ah,
makes me sad.
aw.
But yeah, is there any like other like coffee drinks that you're into, or caffeine beverages? Like, are you like a heavy coffee drinker, or is it just like once in a while kind of thing?
I definitely drink coffee multiple times a week if it's not well, at home because we don't have a coffee machine or an espresso machine. I have like this instant espresso that I'll make with, oat milk and stuff, and I have a bunch of different syrups. And then I even have like zero sugar whipped cream and stuff, so I make my own little scuffed latte at home. But yeah, a lot of the times I'll, order from my Starbucks app, or when I go into the office, there's a cafe right around the corner, local cafe. So yeah, if I'm not drinking lattes or coffee or lattes, I'm drinking Monster Rehab, the strawberry lemonade flavor. I think that's really good. And I don't know if y'all have this in Canada, but there's this energy drink called Alani, Alani. It's a zero sugar or low sugar type energy drink. It's a little carbonated, but their flavors are really good. Like they have one that tastes like fruit punch with a little coconut. There's one that tastes like a orange creamsicle. There's one that tastes like there's one that tastes like a rocket pop. So it's like cherry and raspberry kind of flavored. It's really good. But yeah, so a few different ones for sure. And then I'm sure you've heard me talk about this. I really love the zero sugar Mountain Dews, especially like the Baja Blast, zero sugar Baja Blast. So yeah.
I'm still jealous that you have the zero sugar Baja Blast, because the only zero sugar I've found is the original, and I'm like, no, why must you torture me?
Well,
I
if you ever
want the
visit this,
other flavors too.
yeah, if you ever visit the States, you could visit a Taco Bell and they'll have them because they don't sell them in cans and bottles until the summer. They sell them from like June until like September and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, because I know in Canada we can get like bottles of Baja Blast any time of the year we want for like $1.25 from Dollarama, which is just a Canadian dollar store chain. And it's like, well, that's cool, but why can't I have height of like any of these flavors, please? Also, for those of you who don't know, our friendship began over Mountain Dew, so Mountain Dew is kind of cool for that.
I
But
think that's pretty cool.
yeah, and it's just a shame that Mountain Dew just doesn't like Canada, I guess.
Aw.
But back to the speed running. Where do you see yourself in 5 years in terms of speed running?
So it would probably be the same where I am now. Streaming, running the games that I love, optimizing my times in the games that I run, learning new games from games that I find fun. I don't really have like any end goals or giant goals in speedrunning as a whole, except yeah, just trying to have as much fun as possible and sharing those speedrun attempts on stream. Like yeah, so basically the same as now. I'm one of those like if it's not broke, don't fix it type thing. But also yeah, also participate in more charity events and stuff like that because that's a fun thing to do with speedrunning.
Indeed. What are some of your proudest moments as a runner?
I would say I actually I have two of them. The two that's like they stick out the most. So, one of those moments is when I finally achieved top 5 in RE7 New Game Easy, and that was back in 2021 because I grinded that game a lot and I wanted to see how low I could push my time. So, I was really happy. Like once I think it's like what 1 hour 30 minutes and 30 seconds. So I was really happy when I got that, and it was fifth place. So as of now, I'm down to 7th, but that's okay because I still think top 10 in a category that has what, like 126 runners. Like, I still think that's pretty badass. Another one of my proudest moments, and this is actually like a recent one, was when I ran Resident Evil Remake Jill Any Percent for GDQ Hotfix's She Is Speed show, and that was back in October 2022. Because like Remake, it's my favorite Resident Evil game of all time, and but at the same time, it's like one of the most nerve-wracking runs ever, especially to do in an event. Like there was a reason I never submitted it to events because it's so scary to do because there's no auto saves. That's the main thing. Like there's no auto saves. You lose your health really quickly. Like you have to be like on top of your game for it. So like yeah, once you die, like the run is over. So I was like really really nervous for it, and I made safety saves just in case I died. But yeah, I was still nervous because like I was just thinking in my head like I want to have the best run as possible. My run actually went really well. I got a lot of good RNG. My boss fights were really smooth, and yeah, the most important thing was I didn't die. So yeah, and I'd like to think that it's my best event run to date, and yeah, I'm really proud of that one.
It was a really fantastic run. I was watching that live and I was just like, yes, show that mansion who's boss.
That mansion has some hard parts. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yes. And to counter that question, what were some of your lowest moments as a runner?
Well, there's like one that sticks out in particular. It happened quite a while ago. I think it was like in 2019 or something. I was running Outlast Glitchless for an event, and when I was doing that, I didn't see it happen, but I heard about it from my friends. So the Outlast community, I don't think it was everyone, but a lot of them, they came into the Twitch chat to say a lot of really mean things, saying how bad I was at the game, making fun of me, that sort of thing. And it was upsetting because like, well, I was never like super competitive with the run, and like I never claimed to be really good at it. I honestly only ran it because the event organizer asked me. They like needed, more horror game runners or something there, and they knew of me. And, I think around that time, like I just did Resident Evil, so it's like, a non-Resident Evil game. It's like, oh, I ran Outlast. So I did that. But yeah, that run wasn't perfect. I died a few times and all that stuff, but like still there's no excuse for that community to come in and like ridicule me and stuff. So yeah, that kind of sucked. So but now, like I tell my community, we kind of like meme on it, and it's like, because we talk about how a lot of speedrun communities are, they're really, really good. I'd say like 99% of speedrun communities are really nice, really supportive, things like that. But every now and then you come across a bad egg. And like I said, this was so long ago. So, it's possible that community is not like that anymore. I hope they're not like that anymore. But yeah, now, I just kind of talk about it in jest, and, kind of those moments is like, wow, can you believe those people did that? And, everyone agrees and all that stuff. So it's just a story now.
Yeah, I constantly worry about that kind of stuff myself when doing events because you never know, right? It just could be like somebody's having a bad day or just something's going on and they just want to like pick on somebody because they're just in a bad mood or something, but it still sucks
Yeah.
when it happens.
Yeah, and like the good thing about the speedrun community as a whole, like I said, yeah, a huge majority of us are like really supportive of each other, and don't like gatekeeping or negativity and things like that. So anytime you see those things, we see those things, it's like I have no hesitation to call that type of stuff out. And thankfully, especially if you're doing events, the organizers and moderators will ban those people right away. So yeah, just know like that's not on you, that's literally on that person or those people, and they're hopefully they work out their issues or whatever. But yeah, just know like that's no reflection on you as a runner. Those people are just bad.
What games are you currently playing offline, casually, speedrunning, secretly?
So well, right in terms of speedrunning, right now I'm mostly playing RE1 Remake. So yeah, I don't think I'll get sick of that game for a really long time. And I play it offline too, because I'm big on like segment practice and stuff. Like I have a lot of fun not doing full runs all the time. So and to get better, offline practice. Because when I was trying to get 5th place on RE7, that's where I really started to improve, was practicing offline, and yeah, not doing full runs. Like I like to do the full runs on stream because I know, my community likes that and I have a lot of fun with that. So yeah, I play Resident Evil 1 remake on stream and off stream. But also Return to Monkey Island. I've been speedrunning that, and since that's kind of a new run to me, I play it off stream as well to like try and figure out, how to optimize that. And I actually do play the OG Crash games offline too, because I'm interested in giving OG Crash 2 a try before RE4 remake.
Nice. Do you ever see yourself going to the Insane Trilogy versions as well, or just sticking with OG?
Oh, yeah, funny you say that, because I actually used to run Insane Trilogy back in 2018. Like, I ran Crash 3 NST. I never learned how to hop slide because I was running on PS4 at the time, and it was really, really hard to get. And I actually I bought it on PC when it came out on PC because it came out like a year later. And I started playing it off stream again to like practice stuff and learn stuff. So I do want to come back to Crash 3 NST for sure too.
Nice. Do you have any influences?
Yeah, I'd say so. I was, at least at the beginning, and I still think about them, when I think of like what influenced me to speedrun. I was really inspired by Siglemic. He was a Super Mario 64 speedrunner. He was literally like the best at the time, but and also Narcissa, right? She did Ocarina of Time, and she also did Banjo Kazooie for a little bit, but her main thing was Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and she also did Wind Waker. Because again, like I didn't play those games growing up, but like they were so good at these games. They were their determination and dedication were there. So it's like I was really influenced by them, and also Carcinogen, because he speedran my favorite series and stuff. So I was really influenced by him. Yeah, so they're still an inspiration, but I'm mainly inspired. This will probably come to no surprise. Mainly inspired by my best friend Cat Link, because she was the first lady speedrunner that I met and became friends with back in 2018. Not many women speedrun RE7, especially they didn't not many speed ran it back then. I think like 2 or 3 were back at the time, and I'm sure video games speedrunning very male dominated. So when you meet a lady, it's just like you light up and all that stuff. But yeah, she's also just really amazing at every game she runs. She's really good. So and she's super nice and amazing. So yeah, I'm inspired by her a lot.
Yeah, as am I. But
Aw.
yeah, she's really nice, and if you guys don't know Kat, you should check her out. She's amazing. She's really helpful, really nice. Yeah, I can't thank her enough half the time because I probably wouldn't know anybody, and people wouldn't know who I am without her. If you could create a game from an entirely different genre and add it to your favorite series, what genre of game would you add?
So I think a Resident Evil point and click adventure game would be really cool. Because well, one, I think that the genre, like the point and click genre, could use more horror games. Like there are some out there. But yeah, I think, that would be a really cool addition. But I think if there was a Resident Evil one, it would be more focused on like the puzzle aspect and like the lore story aspect and not so much combat. I'm like a lot of point and click adventure games are a little bit, they're mostly static or, not a whole lot moving on. So I wouldn't even know how you would work combat in there. But and I know like the whole fighting and resource management makes that series fun and unique. But I think there's probably like a moment or two in the series that you can pick where it's not a whole lot going on, either like it's before the outbreak or like the aftermath of it when they're dealing with the downfall of Umbrella or something. So I think that'd be cool because yeah, my favorite aspects of the point and click genres are like the atmosphere, picking your dialogue, the voice acting, the puzzles, all that sort of stuff. So I think Resident Evil could have a lot of potential in that genre.
Nice. Do you think it would like be like a completely new story, or do you think it would be like a point and click just based on already written material from like the first game or like the first like trilogy?
I I mean, I think it would be really cool if it was based on one of the games that already came out, but it would probably have to be like a new story, but still having the same characters. I wouldn't want like random characters who wouldn't make sense in there and stuff. Like, you might have to have a couple, but you still want to have, people who are crucial to that story in there.
That is very fair. If people want to find you, where can they find you?
Yeah, so you can find me at twitch.tv/Marphoria. And that's also all of my socials, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Those are, all Marphoria.
Nice. And I have one final question for you.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider doing a DDR showcase at an event or even on a stream if you could?
Oh yeah. I mean, I just have to hook up the dance pad. That's it. I've done DDR streams before. It's been a while though. Like I mainly did them in 2020 when I was unemployed at the time. Pandemic, laid off, da da da. But I also I did Sonic 3 and Knuckles on the dance pad, like using that as the controller, and that was pretty interesting. But I'm actually like we're gonna set up the dance pad this weekend. Even if it's not set up for streaming, like I'm doing like more cardio nowadays. Like y'all know I'm big into Beat Saber and running and all that stuff, but I really miss dance games. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing DDR more again.
Oh, very nice. That's certainly exciting. I can't wait to see that. That's going to be great.
Aw.
But I again thank you so much for coming on to the show. It's been
Yeah.
fantastic talking to you. And
Thank you so much for having me. It was super super great.
Yay! I'm glad you enjoyed being on the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can follow the show on Twitter at Speedrunning Coffee. Unfortunately, Speedrunners and Coffee was too long on Twitter. Sorry,
Aw.
everyone. And of course, you can catch episodes on Spotify and on YouTube every Saturday. Thank you all very much for listening. We will see you next time. Bye bye.